starstruck. They watching my moves, I got them starstruck. Out here breaking the rules, I got them starstruck. I got nothing to lose, so I'm letting it loose. Out here paying my dues, I got them starstruck.
Welcome to Football Friday Night. It is Week 8, and joining me per usual, Tony Quach, Dylan Tyson.
A lot of big-time matches this week with league title implications, guys.
Playoff possibilities, top 10 matchups, of course, too. One of the top passing offenses in the country over at Spartan Stadium.
Per usual, that's right. And last week, that offense waited until the second half to do much of anything against Rogers. A chance to inch closer to locking up a home game to open the playoffs on Military Appreciation Night tonight. This week's opponent, wait. Lima Senior strikes early and often. They don't wait. Janias Hall tosses to Boog Wilson, reads his blockers, drags some defenders into the end zone, 8-0 after the two-point conversion. Later in the first quarter, Hall takes the snap, drops back, uncorks this one. Who else? Wilson behind the defense. Another two-point conversion, 16-0 Spartans. No slow start tonight. Now, Wade does get a stop eventually. The strip sack here. The ball will roll around for a while. Indians are able to recover, but they are unable to convert the turnover into points. And as for what Lima Senior is up to, Hall to Wilson, some jukes. You guys know the rest by now. Just about every possession they score, 79-0 is the final score. Guys, of those 79 points, they say Lima Senior scored 79 of them in the first half.
Man.
They are 8-0.
Well, it's a good time to be a Lima football fan because the Thunderbirds are 5-2 under first-year quarterback Brady Parker. But Spencerville, guys, they just beat Allen East for the first time in 5 years, now looking to snap a decade-long drought against LCC. And they're keeping it close. 15-7 T-Birds lead in the third, but that won't last long. Parker dumps it off to Caden Falk. He stiff arms a man on his way to the 11-yard touchdown, 22-7 LCC. Thunderbirds back on offense. Lawson Flores in motion. He takes the ball on the end around. Ball's all the way back on his own 38-yard line, but that won't stop him. We got to speed it up to see him beat every Bearcat defender. 62 yards later, it's 29-7.
Tight schedule, though. Yeah.
Right. Fourth quarter. Spencerville has to move quick. Carter Orr deep over the middle. As a flock of T-Birds swarm into him, Xavier Purnell forces the fumble. Michael Quatman recovers. That halts all the Bearcat momentum. Flores puts the nail in the coffin on the counter. LCC wins their 6th straight over Spencerville, 36-7. They remain at 3rd in the NWC.
And we got more NWC action in Allen County. Jefferson pays a visit to Allen East. The Jeff Cats hope to snap a 5-game slide against the Mustangs, but the last 10 meetings between the two have been split 5 games apiece. In the first quarter, the Wildcat defense attempts to ground the Mustangs on their opening drive. Jackson Rarick is locked on his target, and the sophomore takes down QB for a loss. But the Mustangs were not fazed. After a big 4th down pickup, Keegan Jones finds freshman Cam Smith in the end zone. Mustangs take the early lead, and they don't look back. On the next drive, Miles McDormand takes the handoff, and the sophomore weaves in and out of the Wildcats defense. He will take it all the way home for a 51-yard house call. You can add 7 more to the Mustangs' lead. They go on to win this one, 41-0.
Northwest Conference scoreboard, Division 6 number 5 team, Bluffton tops Fort Laramie 42-28. Columbus Grove look to stay even with Bluffton atop the NWC. They do a 49-7 win there. Elsewhere, Three Rivers Conference, Lehman Catholic tops Covington 35-7, while Riverside is shut out by Miami East 35-0. All right, let's go to the Blanchard Valley Conference now for one of the bigger games of the night, Tony.
That's right, Adam. Coming into Week 8, we have 4 BBC teams with a combined record of 17-3 in conference play. 2 of those teams are Lipstick and Liberty Benton. Tonight, they renew their conference rivalry in our Football Friday Night Spotlight game.
Tonight's Football Friday Night Spotlight game is brought to you by Norada Lanes.
The first BBC game between the two since 2020. But the Eagles have won the last 4 meetings. The Vikings can force a tie for first place at the top of the league standings with a win. We're scoreless in the first. Trevin Lieb hands it off to Zach Elkert, and the junior makes his way past the goal line. LB jumps out to an early 7-0 lead. To the second quarter, same score, and the Eagles have the ball once more. Lieb fires a beauty downfield to Seth Elkert, and the Toledo commit hauls it in for 22 yards. LB now leads by 14. Later in the quarter, Lieb gives it to Zach once more, and Zach drives it in from 8 yards out. The Eagles add on. It's now 21-0. And Liberty Benton is showing no signs of slowing down. Lieb unloads another aerial attack, and here's Seth making the catch and sliding into the end zone. The 41-yard strike gives the Eagles a 28-point lead. They win this game, 38-0.
Big time.
All right, Macomb is 14th in Region 26 computer ratings going into tonight. Arlington's 11th. Both are 4-3 overall, 2-3 in BVC play. Panthers find themselves in 4th and 1 situation inside the red zone now. Gary Schrader calls his own number. He's able to convert for Macomb. However, Arlington's defense will only stop in their tracks and only limit the damage to 3 points as Luke Kern knocks it through the uprights. It's 3-0. Moving ahead to the second quarter, Panthers driving again. It's Schrader reading the blocks, carrying tacklers to move the chains for a big-time first down for the visitors. And that play will lead to Macomb on the goal line. Schrader caps off the drive with a touchdown, give the Panthers a 10-0 lead. But in the blink of an eye, so fast, we almost missed it. Arlington's Braylon Rucker rips off a 60-plus yard run to the house to bring the Red Devils back into the game. Yet, in the long run, it was not enough as Macomb would score 27 unanswered points from then on to secure the 37-7 road win. Elsewhere, Ada looks to stay a game back of BVC leader Liberty Benton. Van Buren is at 13th in Region 22 meanwhile. Black Knights trailing 21-6 in the third. Grady Mason launches one deep, and Alex Homan will rise up and come down with the contested grab. Great defense, better offense, and that sets up Van Buren inside the red zone. Now that leads to Mason sneaking it in for the score. Black Knights make it 21-12 after failing on the 2-point conversion. So here we go, Van Buren back with the ball, down 24-12 after a field goal. The visitors looking for another deep shot, but the Bulldog defense was ready this time around. Caleb Hickman there for the INT, and the Bulldogs are back in business after the turnover. And they'll strike fast as Kane Fisher gets the handoff, spins out of a would-be tackle, and he'll make his way into the end zone. Ada takes care of business at home, 46-18. Elsewhere in the BVC, Elmwood at Riverdale Falcons win at 32-18. Arcadia at Pandora Gilboa opened the week last night. The Rockets dominated that one if you missed it, 55-13. And a quick Miami Valley League final, Sydney falls just short of Vandalia Butler, 46-43. All right, it's time for our first break. Coming up, we'll head to the Western Buckeye League and the Midwest Athletic Conference highlights and scores straight ahead. Welcome back to Football Friday night. We now turn our attention to most of the Western Buckeye League.
5 games tonight, and we're at 4 of them, including the WBL leader, Wapakoneta, as they host Elida.
That's right, the 6th-ranked Redskins have Elida, Bath, and Salina left in the quest for a perfect regular season, while Elida is sitting at 15th in the computer ratings in Region 14. The fans, though, ready for an upset, but Wapak is up 21-0 in the second. Elida still fighting, though, forcing pressure here. Parker Krim, the junior, chases him down for the sack there. Now Elida on offense. Ryan McGue's turn to scramble a little bit here. Drops back, rolls to his right, launches it deep, but it's picked off by Wapak's Ryan Walter getting up. So we go to the first half, at halftime, 21-0. Third quarter, though, Wapak quarterback Cameron Kaufman on the run again, this time on his own terms. Finds a seam, avoids the defense, and it's just sweet, sweet green grass between him and the promised land. 61 yards, 28-0 Wapak. Later in the second, Kaufman laser rocket arms this pass to tight end Grant Hauser. Wapak stays undefeated. They're 8-0, and they win this one 35-0.
We'll head up to Putnam County. Salina meets Ottawa Glandorf. The Bulldogs have won 4 of their last 5 games coming into this one. Meanwhile, the Titans look to even up their record and reach the 500 mark. In the second half, OG is up by 14. Payne Kuhlman drops back and fires it downfield. Deegan Miller makes the catch for the touchdown, and that gives Titans a commanding 21-0 lead. Meanwhile, Salina is still trying to crack the scoreboard. Bobby Morris will take to the skies. His pass is caught by Kaden Wentz, and the senior cruises into the end zone. The Bulldogs now trail by 14. OG is still up in the 4th and facing 4th and 6. Kuhlman is looking for a target, and he hits Miller with the pass once again. That's good for a first down, but OG decides that's enough damage for the night. Kuhlman takes a knee, and the Titans take this one 21-14.
Well, guys, when it comes to the WBL, this year's breakout story has been the Bath Wildcats opening league play with 4 straight wins. But starting last week, their final 4 games come against the remaining top 5 teams in the league. It started with a 36-35 loss to Salina. Things don't get any easier against Defiance. And you know, you look at the numbers, guys, you'd think this would be a test for the Bulldog defense. It's allowing just 18 points a game, Bath offense averaging 38. But no, it's the Wildcats pitching a 14-0 first half shutout. And a lot of that is owed to the Bath pass rush, guys. 3rd down, 3rd quarter, Defiance looking. Landon Oglesby gets home for the sack for Bath, however, forcing the Bulldog punt. On their next series, next third down, in fact, it's the junior L.J. Davenport. Back-to-back Defiance drives that end in sacks. Fourth quarter, Wildcats back on offense, and quarterback Zach Welsh been doing it with his feet all night. That's his third rushing TD. It's 21-0 Bath. Defiance needs to convert on this fourth down from midfield. Time is their enemy. They have to throw it, but can't connect. Wildcats just control the time of possession all night long. Welsh gonna deal one more definitive blow. Guys, Bath's defense has allowed at least 4 touchdowns in every WBL game until tonight. The Wildcats shut out one of the league's top offenses, 28-0.
Any given Friday, that's what they say, right? St. Mary's odds for a home game in the playoffs go up to 84% if they get a win over Canton tonight. St. Mary's junior QB Aiden Meinerding hands off to Jacob Kessler, who runs all the way from St. Mary's own 38-yard line for a touchdown, despite, and we counted 6 defenders getting a hand on him. First drive of the game, Riders are up 7-0, just like that. Now, Meinerding later, he'll hand off to Dominic Osborne, who runs it up the middle for a 10-yard touchdown, 14-0. Later, Kenton's Corbin Johnston trying to get something going for the Wildcats. He'll go 22 yards down the field to Maddox Hamel, who will make the catch for a big Wildcat first down, but it was all for naught. St. Mary's goes into the second quarter leading 21-0. Meinerding now handing off to Dylan Fink for another touchdown, this one from 6 yards. St. Mary's up 28-0 there. Rough Riders go on to win 64-28. Elsewhere in the Western Buckeye League, Shawnee at Van Wert. It's the Cougars doubling up the Indians 28-14. Central Buckeye Conference, Bell Fountain takes care of them 50-19 is the final score over Urbana. Indian Lake at Springfield Shawnee. Lakers win at 14-0 while Benjamin Logan edges North Union 30-26.
Well, let's get a taste of the action. A big shakeup last week as Anna knocked off defending state finalist for sales in a defensive slugfest. But no team knows defense like Marion Local. The Flyers are now 2 wins away from the all-time longest win streak. They've ridden the defense all along the way. Anna's opening drive tonight, we see Ethan Heitkamp punch the ball loose. Marion Local has held 205 straight teams under 40 points. That's a new state record. Ensuing drive turns into 6 Flyer points, and then on their next trip down, Drew Loss punches in 6 more. 14-0 Flyers. They have the ball again now. They take to the skies this time. Justin Knopf to Victor Holscher. We've seen a lot of that from the senior duo as Holscher racks up the yak for a TD, 21-0 after 1. And in the ground game, nobody is bringing down Parker Hess. Marion Local up 42-0 at halftime. That's your final score. The 56th straight win for the Flyers puts them 1 away from tying the all-time record.
And that record held by MAC rivals St. John's. And speaking of the Blue Jays, they lose at St. Henry Redskins roll 49-0. Is there a record for most records broken? Because Marion Local's probably going to get that this season.
Right.
New Bremen at top-ranked Coldwater Cavs stay perfect 24-7. Parkway loses to Fort Recovery 36-24, while fourth-ranked Minster dominates a now falling Versailles team 35-0. All right, coming up after our final break, the NWCC, GMC, Findlay, Patrick Henry, highlights and scores coming up. Welcome back to Football Friday night for the final time, and we go to Findlay, where the Trojans had a tall task with the number 6 team in Division I, that's Perrysburg.
A loss for Findlay essentially guarantees they're on the road to open up their postseason.
Now, the Yellow Jackets are coming off their first loss of the season against Toledo Whitmer, so maybe something there. Trojans, they have upset in mind. You don't blame them. First quarter, first drive of the game. Landon Eccleberry scrambling here as we build the drama to find somebody open. He'll eventually decide to throw across his body. Never a good choice. It's picked off by Lucas Pollock of Perrysburg. He'll break a few tackles, a nice little return before eventually being brought down out of bounds. And shortly after that, Perrysburg would take advantage of the turnovers. They tend to do, driving, eventually scoring. Findlay would try to hang around for a while, but the Trojans fall to the Yellow Jackets' final score, 37-14.
Meanwhile, the Patrick Henry Patriots attempt to bounce back from a tough loss to Liberty Center. Week 8 sees them on the road against the 6-1 Delta Panthers. And the Big Red is seeing red tonight as Lincoln Krager connects with little bro, Reed Krager. Patriots now lead by 25. Then their defense comes up in a big way. As the Panthers QB gets hit, the ball is loose. Connor Niederhaus comes up with it. He takes it to the house for another Patrick Henry score, and the Patriots win big. 37-3 is their final.
And we'll wrap up our night with the NWCC. No conference title stakes this week, but playoff implications aplenty in Allen County. Perry can clinch the postseason with a win tonight. Otherwise, they'd have to win out. Waynesfield Goshen, meanwhile, already locked in. But if the Tigers can win out, they can guarantee a home game for themselves. That's crucial for a team 2-4 in the playoffs since 2020. And they catch a big break after the Commodores fumble the opening snap. WG takes over inside the 10, and Grant Bradingham plows ahead, reaches across the pylon. 6-0 Tigers after the missed extra point. Then, after a fourth down stop, WG back on the field. Kaufman at QB rolling to his left, chucks up a deep ball to wide open Reed Waitman. A 54-yard touchdown connection makes it 12-zip. Second quarter now, Perry defense needing a break. On fourth down, Caden Moore, the first helmet to the ball to stuff the run, turning over the Tigers. But the next time WG touches the ball, they march it 90 yards down the field, capped off a big Gage Steinke touchdown run. 18-0 before halftime. Tigers win 26-7.
Elsewhere in the NWCC, Corey Rawson against Ridgedale Rockets rolled 20-3. Upper Scioto Valley against Elgin. Rams win it 28-8. North Baltimore at Ridgemont. Golden Gophers a 41-7 winner. Now to the Green Meadows Conference. Paulding dominates Hicksville 50-18. The final there. Antwerp at Wayne Trace. Raiders roll 34-0. While Ayersville at Sonora Pilots fall 21-0. And that will do it for Football Friday night. Go to our website or social media if you missed any of tonight's action. We'll have state championship golf highlights tomorrow from Sunbury. Game 5 of the Tigers and Guardians. College football as well. These guys have you covered without a doubt. We'll see you next week for the Week 9 edition of Football Friday night.